maybe we can somehow jettison this this term art, or maybe we need something else to describe this specific type of pursuit that we're working on. But at the same time, it's perhaps not so much that we should get rid of this term, but maybe to pull back ourselves and really consider the role of art in society. So it's a question, of course, that always comes up whenever we have discussions in the context of so-called new media or digital art, or this relationship between art and technology. And I think there's some value in discussing, that role of art. One of the speakers, I forgot to note exactly who it was, brought up the point of, are we talking about art education or art in education? And I thought that was actually quite fitting, because it's two quite radically different concepts, and that we should have art actually in all forms of education. It's the most basic form of education, but at the same time, can one actually learn art? Is it not something that is just there? And at the very end, I thought it was very nice, sort of cap in Polona's talk. Is Polona still here?
Yes.
Somewhere? Okay, hi. That you mentioned Marco Pelhan's work, and the work that he's doing in the Arctic and the Antarctic, which is, since the slides that you had up, also gone a bit step further. Marco Pelhan, an artist, part of a large transnational collaborative effort, is doing work in the Arctic and the Antarctic. It comes from and maybe you know this better than I do, a philosophical pursuit towards some idea, some notion of utopia that was defined, or at least described, in a poem by Velimir Klebnikov in 1920, a poem called Ladomir, in which there is this linkage between natural phenomena and technology. If we assume this position, then we achieve a kind of utopia. Of course, utopia is not something that we can actually achieve, because once we get there, we're actually in a kind of a dystopic scenario. And the scenario of this poem of Ladomir by Klebnikov actually takes place in the Antarctic. So the only continent on Earth which is not populated, at least in a natural sense, by humans. It's sort of the only land mass which kind of has this very special place, and it's also a highly technological location. And it was, of course, something which in 1920 was just a vague notion, maybe referential even to Frankenstein, who the monster who had to escape humanity by rushing off, in his case, to the North Pole. So this necessity to kind of like escape and find this space of action, and that maybe is the kind of space in which art can actually take place. And so it's a bit sort of like loose points there, but we have this desire, we have this need to kind of reach these kinds of pure locations, and it was a nice point, I think, to end up on with the talks today.
Okay, thanks. And Giovanni Boccia Artieri, in our correspondence, email correspondence, you insist on the fact that the boundaries between professional and amateur and between consumer and producer are blurring. And from a viewpoint which comes from thank you, from sociology and communication, how does this can work on art, exchange art, produce art,